Hello, everyone. My name is Wais Asmal. Welcome to another episode of Tooways to Skin a Cat, a show where we talk career experiences, entrepreneurship, and investments. The main aim is to show that there's more than one way to be successful other than just climbing the corporate ladder. Now, we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, and the show will be available on podcast by tomorrow. So, for those listening on the podcast, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell to get automatically notified when the next episode comes out. Now, if you're joining us live or you're joining me live, drop a one in the comments and drop a two in the comments if you're watching the recording. So, today we are going to be talking about that feeling when you say to yourself, I feel stuck. I feel stuck in my role. You might have been in the same position for a while. You may have been doing the same tasks over and over, month after month, and you've stopped learning. You're probably not being challenged, but still promotions may seem out of reach. Or maybe you don't even want your manager's job, or your manager's not planning on leaving, so there's no room to move because they've been there a long time and they might still be there for a long time. And now I know that feeling of being stuck can be draining. And it's hard to be motivated and it's hard to stay motivated when it feels like nothing is changing. So just know that you're not alone in feeling this way. Many professionals, whether they're junior, whether they middle management, or even senior, they go through this phase. So today's session is about let's unpack how we can move forward from this place. And we'll start with questions that you need to start asking yourself. And we're going to go through some of those questions. One question that I challenge you to ask yourself is, am I learning anything new? And if you're not learning anything new, your brain is probably bored. And a bored brain equals low energy and low creativity. And I will put that to you is, okay, you're not learning anything new, but have you tried going outside of your role, learning something about something that's related to your role, but not exactly in your role? Another question that I would ask is, do I want to grow here? So, do you actually want to climb the ladder in the current company that you're at? Or have you outgrown the company or have you outgrown the position? Another question that I would ask is, have I communicated what I want? Sometimes we assume that managers know we're ready for a challenge, but they don't. They are busy, they've got their own things going on. So you have to tell them and you have to remind them. Some people think, okay, I'm going to work hard, put my head down, work out. They will know that I want A, B, C, and D. You might have mentioned it in your interview 3 years ago. Don't assume that your manager remembers the discussion you had in your interview 3 years ago. Like, there's lots of things that happened. You have to remind them and you have to keep talking about it again and again. Another question that you could ask is my issue about the role specifically? Is my issue about the company? Or am I the issue? Maybe you're not stuck in a role. Maybe you're stuck in a mindset or stuck in fear. There's nothing. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. We've all been there. We've all been there. And these are not questions that you ask other people. You are questioning yourself. So there's no judgment. You are only questioning yourself. I want to move over to what are the strategies that can be used to get unstuck if you are feeling stuck. And let's get practical. So here are things that you can try right now. One of the things you can do is start a side project within your role. So you might say, where's what you mean? Like identifying a problem at work and volunteer to help to fix it, even if it's not part of your job description. If you just say it's not part of my job description, I'm not going to do it, you're definitely not going to learn. You have to take the initiative, talk to people, find out what the main pain points are. You can't do a project that's a vanity project. You must look for a project that will actually help the business move forward, that will actually benefit the business, and you have to sell that. But find that project that might give you a passion that you didn't know you had, or might give you some motivation that you didn't have before. Something else that you could potentially do is upskill yourself strategically. So learn a skill that you or your manager doesn't expect you to have. whether that's Excel, data visualization, project management, coding. I'm just giving you ideas. It can be something totally different, but something that can upskill you in your position or even in the next position. You don't have to wait for people to say this is the training I think you should have. Find the training and recommend it. Because remember, your manager's role is not to make you the best person. Yes, in an ideal world it is, but to be honest, your manager's there to try and do their job and get the best out of their role. They're not there to make sure they're not trying, and not that they're trying to do anything wrong. It's just they've got a lot on their plate. So if you can find something that will make you develop, take control, take responsibility. Don't wait for someone to say, I think you should do this. You take that responsibility. Another strategy that you could potentially do is mentor someone else, someone below you. Teaching others is often a way that pushes you to grow yourself, because when you're teaching, you have to know everything. So you kind of go through the information, you study the information again, you cross your eyes, dot your eyes, and cross your T's. But um, that is a strategy to get unstuck. Another strategy you could think about is asking for a stretch assignment. So something that's outside of your normal comfort zone, because generally we grow when we are stretched. If we are given work that we know how to do, that's easy for us to do, we're not going to grow. And yes, in a stretch assignment, you might make some mistakes, but go in with that mentality. The only way you learn is through mistakes. If you were perfect, you wouldn't be in the situation. And nobody's perfect. So have that discussion with your manager. Look for something that will help you grow. Um, you could think of asking your manager for some of the work that they do and taking that on. That will ease their workload. You will learn more about the more senior position. And I mean, that doesn't make you look bad, I can tell you that. Another strategy that you could use to get unstuck would be to network within your company. So learn, figure out what's happening in other departments. I know some of us can get very, this is the work we do, so we get very focused on it, and you don't think about, some of you are in very big organizations and you have no idea what's going on in other departments. There might be a role that fits you better than the role you're currently in, but the only way you're going to know about it is if you talk to people, if you network, if you chat to people. Networking is a superpower. Yes, I know some people they introverts and they don't like to talk. Guess what? If you want to get anywhere worth getting, you need to network. And the higher you get, the more important networking gets. You might come out of varsity or your first few jobs, maybe not might not need to network. But if you want to reach the C-suite, if you want to reach a senior level, the only way you're going to do that is through networking. And that doesn't mean chatting to people. That means, it doesn't even necessarily mean selling yourself. It means what value you can provide to others, learning about other people's roles, learning how you can assist them. And again, it's not necessarily about who you know, it's about who knows you. Because if people are aware that this is what you're interested in, they might send it your way. But if they don't know that you're interested in a certain topic, why would they send it your way? Now let's talk about something that's a little bit, I wouldn't say risky, but when is it time to move on? And that's only a question that you can answer. And let's be honest, sometimes the solution isn't within your current organization. If you've spoken up, if you've spoken to people, if you've tried all the different strategies, or if you've tried some of the strategies that I've talked to you about, and you haven't learned anything, or you've hit a brick wall, or you've hit a glass ceiling, and you're dreading going to work, then you might have reached a point where the current job is no longer for you. Then maybe it's time to move. And because you change jobs doesn't mean you failed at your current job. You're growing. You've probably hit your limit at that job and you need to grow. The only way to grow might be to leave. I've done it many times, and each time has taught me something new. I've changed jobs I've changed into better jobs, and I've even changed into jobs that weren't all that great. But I even learned from those jobs, and I grew from those jobs. And after those jobs that weren't great, I managed to find jobs that were great. So don't be afraid of making a change. Don't be afraid of trying something new. A lot of what we talked about today comes down to mindset and having a bit of a mindset shift. Being stuck doesn't mean being helpless. It may be a signal that something needs to change, either in your environment or in your mindset. Sometimes the feeling of being stuck pushes us to our next breakthrough. It's the world's way of telling us it's time to go to the next step. You just have to take an action. Take a small action today, take a small action, and tomorrow, every day, take small actions towards that. Build up some momentum. As you build up momentum, all of a sudden you look back a month or two, three, and you are in a very different position than you were when you were feeling stuck a few months ago. Today was a bit of a short one, but I hope today's session helped someone out there who is feeling stuck. Let me know in the comments, have you ever felt stuck in your role? What helped you get out of it? And remember to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell um, so that you can make sure you know when the next episode comes out. Ooh, I'm a bit tongue-tied today, but happy to answer questions after the session if you put comments in the comment section. Remember, this is your life. This is your career. Take responsibility for it. If things don't go well, it's generally going to be, yes, you can blame other people, but at the end of the day, the person that's going to most affect is you. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode